Amber Cooper. I live in the Winchester area. I've been here for 7 years. Me and my husband have been foster parents for the last 3 years, and it's kind of a long story, but the short version is last year, actually it was 2019, right before 2020, I had been doing weekly prayer calls with Chris, and we had met with like a bunch of the coalition leaders in Virginia, and just started developing a friendship. And that's when we decided, hey, it'd be a great opportunity for Foster Friends, which was our local coalition, to combine with Project Belong and be able to share resources and to have more of a team approach to the work that we've been doing. We did not think we would be doing foster care. Like I said, we've been married for 7 years. And so I think it was year 4 is when we kind of started talking about adoption. Unfortunately, we've never been able to have children. And so we were looking into kind of what that looked like for our family. And so we looked at Google, and we were trying to, because we didn't know anybody that had fostered or adopted, at least recently. And so we started looking into like different adoption agencies, and ended up doing a home study through an adoption agency, but just didn't feel like it was right. And so, at least right for us. And so we ended up looking into like Adopt Us Kids, and then eventually that kind of led us into local foster care. So you always hear about like international adoption, and there is a need for international, but like it doesn't take much looking to find that there is a big need in our local communities, whether it's, foster care situations where the child had to be removed for safety reasons, or maybe they don't have any family. Like there's so many reasons why they come into foster care, but, and some of those kids do need to go home to family, but some of them don't have any family to go home to, or the situation isn't safe enough for them to be able to go home. And there are, I forget how many, like even currently waiting in Virginia right now, that are just either waiting in a residential facility, or they are with a family that just can't adopt them at this time. Like there are a lot of children here locally waiting to be adopted. But then there also is foster care. There is like a level of uncertainty with that. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to kind of wrap their minds around initially. But to be able to be fully present for a child, long-term or short-term, is impactful. And for us, that just seemed like the path that God was calling us to. We had hoped to adopt, but we had to be obedient, even if it wasn't like clear cut. I definitely have. That's part of my work that I do, but then also just friends that I've gotten to know that also foster and have adopted. Yes, like it's something that I have a strong, I moved around a lot when I was a kid. And so to like build community, that was just something we did. That's something we had to do. You move to a new area, and that's something my parents really instilled in us. And so now, I really like to be able to put tools in families' hands to be able to build community around themselves. But then also just make the church aware that sometimes it's hard for families to ask for help. And they may be doing fine, and then something happens, and then it's like, wait a second, I need some help, but I don't know how to ask or who to ask. Those stories where just their friends, their small group, their, the people they volunteer with at church just really step up alongside them to just make life a little easier. Like there was a single mom last month that I was talking to, and she has 3 boys, and I was trying to help just problem solve a little bit. She had like this big situation going on, and then her church was they were being amazing and helpful and reaching out to her, but we really had to like put some structure to how they could help the best, help take a load off of her. She didn't have to do all the like plan of like what exactly she needed. Like the people were willing, and then we just had to tell them what, and they did it. And it's been a huge, like somebody coming over to her house and cleaning twice a week, or this person coming and hanging out during bedtime so that things aren't as chaotic and there's a little more calm in the home. But that's just one situation where I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely say lots of prayer. You want to make sure it's the right timing and clear that that's what God's calling you to do. But I will say he never makes things confusing. Usually it's pretty clear cut. And then if you have a spouse, like really make sure you guys are in agreement. Usually one spouse is more for it than the other, and there might be some time of like waiting for them to be ready. That's something me and my husband have really wanted to make sure, like even when we get a call for a placement, like we both have to be 100% behind it so that we know that we're going to be fully in. And talk to your kids about it. I think that's a huge, like if you have biological kids, like to be able to talk to them about, hey, this is something that we're thinking and praying about. You guys should pray too, because your kids, they see these needs, and sometimes they have less like anxiety about it because they're not thinking about all the what ifs like us adults do. They just think about things a lot simpler, but involve them. And there's usually a lot of like info sessions in your area. And typically there's multiple agencies. And so it's great to go and interview each one of the agencies to find out like who you feel most comfortable working with. And they're always great to like answer questions and things like that.